Yankees got 66 games to go. Mets have 65. Like, this is not half the season. This is not, okay, well, let's see what's going on here. No, this is pedal to the metal time. This is less than now 2 weeks to the trade deadline time. This is you want to win a division, time to strap on and go get it time. So there is no, where in the beginning of the season there could be, and BT used this word the other day, I usually say evaluation mode. Oh, the experimental phase. And I thought it was great last week. Where a lot of these teams early on in the season with the experimental phases in maybe April or May and maybe even parts of June. Heck, maybe even parts of July. Well, now, no more experimental phase, no more evaluation phase. They better know, both the Mets and Yankees, what they have and what they need and what has to be done to go out there and win. We always talk about expectations versus results is how we judge teams and their seasons. Well, the expectations for both teams were through the roof. And while the expectations for the Mets might not have been to win the division, it's such an easy out. Like, oh, you don't need to win the division. You just got to get in. You just got to be playing hard at the right time. That's such an easy out for me. The Mets still were expected to be one of the better teams in Major League Baseball. The Yankees, I think the expectations every year is that they're going to win the division and be one of the better teams in all of Major League Baseball. Well, both teams so far, they haven't disappointed yet. I mean, they have had disappointing stretches. The Mets just coming off the bad stretch, but they were able to, hold off that, take on water, but weather the storm and maintain their spot within the division right there, just a half game back of the Phillies with 65 to go. And with the Yankees, okay, they got knocked out of first place by the Blue Jays. It happens throughout the course of a long season. They're just 2 games back. But both these teams still have the possibility and the potential and the likelihood in front of them to live up to the expectations. But before we get to the season expectations, it is the trade deadline expectations. And that's going to be the focal point. It'll be today, when we're not talking about David Wright, he'll have his number retired tomorrow. And it'll be all next week. And then the week after. And I would anticipate moves starting to happen sooner than later. Because once you get down to this now, 13-day window, I wouldn't think the Diamondbacks, for example, are still evaluating whether they want to be buyers or sellers. I'm pretty sure the decision is made. I doubt that the next 5 to 10 days is going to change anything. And I'm just bringing up the Diamondbacks because obviously they have a lot of pieces that people were saying, whether it's Suarez, whether it's Gallen, Kelly, whatever. Diamondbacks have at least a few guys that have been mentioned quite a bit as far as trade possibilities go. I think teams now, instead of, we don't know, we'll see where we are at the break, but teams now got to know. I mean, you've got a little over a third of the season to go. You better know where you're at. And I believe both the Mets and Yankees know where they're at. I still just, like we were talking about yesterday to start the show, I still just don't know how all in. Brian Cashman talks a good game, and the Yankees are usually more aggressive than others. But how all in are they going to be? Trading with, parting with prospects for the bigger trade, parting with the bigger prospects, or taking on salary to get better players back. There are 2 ways to do it. And the Yankees, while they've been aggressive, more aggressive than most, that's what Cashman has been, period. There is no, this year that Cashman's always wheeling and dealing. But sometimes falls just short of really going all in. I could have this conversation as I did with BT. Oh, you want Ramirez? Jose Ramirez? Yeah, I love him. I do whatever for him. All right, did you give up Lombard? No, I'm not doing that. Well, that's not all in. You want the player, you got to give up. It's got to hurt you. You got to have a little pain there. And Cashman has tried to avoid having that pain. And we've referenced the examples going back to Volpe or even last year with Spencer Jones. But that would be my only question mark with the Yankees. I know they're going to improve the ball club. Do I trust that they're going to get the right piece? And do I trust that they're really going to go all in? Sacrifice maybe a bit of the future for the now. They've been trying to thread the needle, and it hasn't worked so far. So are they going to continue to thread the needle or just say, screw it, we're going all in? And then will it be the right move? I don't love the idea of Suarez for them. Maybe they do love it. I would bet that with all his home runs and strikeouts, he's a perfect fit for what Brian Cashman is looking to do. Just try to bludgeon you to death and hope that one of these years in the postseason, it works. And as far as the Mets are concerned, we know, the one thing that we know about the Mets, this is for sure, that Steve Cohen I shouldn't say doesn't care about cutting the checks. I'm sure everybody cares. I don't care how many billions you have. You still care to a certain extent. But we know, and Steve Cohen has said it. Hey, if I believe that there could be a difference-making move that's going to make us better and try to go win a championship, I'm going to do it. And I would think even more so now in year 5 when he himself put that, well, I think about 5 years for the championship. We call him a king now. Imagine if Steve Cohen could actually deliver a championship in that window that he said. So he wants it more than most. You think you as Met fans want a World Series? I guarantee you that if there is somebody on this planet Earth that wants a World Series win for the New York Mets more than anybody, it is Steve Cohen. Because he's got his words. And then he could have the last laugh. Where we started to maybe get away with away from that. Well, I said, 3 to 5 years, whatever. And then people started to get on about the 5-year window. He's saying, well, I wasn't being literal. But what a dunk that would be if he could deliver the championship. So I don't believe Steve Cohen is going to leave any stone unturned. But I'm not so sure about David Stearns and the type of players that he's going to want to bring in. Cedric Mullins, to me, while he's an upgrade, that's not enough in center field. That's not a difference-making enough move for the Mets in their lineup. Now, I mean, they have the luxury of having Alvarez potentially come back. Oh, it's just like a big trade, getting Alvarez back. I hate when people say that. I don't even like saying it myself. But either way, maybe they're relying on Alvarez to come back or Vientos to get hot. And maybe they feel like they don't need a big bat. I don't know. I don't know their thinking. But, some of the rumors about the position players for the Mets have not been as sexy as the ones for the Yankees. Now, that doesn't mean that it's not right. Sexy isn't always best when it comes to baseball. The sexy moves aren't always the right one when it comes to baseball. But still, it's got to be better than Cedric Mullins for me if you're trying to upgrade center field. Solid, not enough. And obviously the Mets need much more than that. Is Stearns going to go big game hunting? Or is it going to be Phil Maton, Ryan Stanek types? Are they going to get a top-end bullpen arm? A high-leverage bullpen arm? Or is it going to be, well, we like the value in this guy and we could turn him into something better than what he's been? I don't think this is the time to play around. You want to do that with Griffin Canning in the offseason or go pick somebody who you think. Now, different story with, let's say, Zach Gallen, because Zach Gallen has been proven to be a good pitcher before having a bad year. You could get him at a good value and he could strengthen that rotation, the depth of that rotation, and maybe you could get more out of him than what the Diamondbacks are getting out of him now. That is a different story. As far as the bullpen goes, I think the Mets need, no doubt about it, high leverage guys. Not to mention they could use a legitimate center fielder. Who that is, I don't know. Hey, get creative. You know the rosters. I'm talking to Stearns. You know the rosters. You know the players that are going to be available. You know what you have to give up. Go make something crazy happen. We always kind of fall into these are the names that are out there. Suarez, Mullins, Gallen, whatever. And we don't really, I know there are a bunch of others. I'm not going to list the whole thing, but those are the main focal points. Like you hear the one sexy name, the one shiny toy, and you focus on that. But who's to say that trades can't happen out of nowhere? Sexy, splashy trades or sound, solid, splashy trades. And maybe it's time for Stearns and the Mets front office to get creative and aggressive in ways where we haven't seen in recent years. I'm talking about good surprise, not like Darren Ruff, Daniel Vogelback surprise. That was a bad surprise. But that's what it's going to be about here. Hey, let's not pretend that there's plenty of runway, plenty of wiggle room. These teams better come out of the gate hot. Yankees have a more daunting schedule than the Mets do out of the gate. It's not like Cincinnati's bad. But the Yankees, who are down 2 games, obviously in that division, 2 games is nothing. They can make it up. It's not a big deal. But their schedule coming out of the break here, this is not just there's, the half the season to go. No, not at all. At Atlanta for 3, not going to be easy. Spencer Strider on the mound tonight. And then they got 3 at Toronto. That's going to be an early second half, final third of the season series. Now he's got to get some payback on the Jays. And then the Phillies come to town. The Rays come to town. Yankees are going to be tested here right out of the gate. This is before the deadline. Yankees going to be tested. This is a big week or so for the Yankees. Like we were saying with the Mets schedule, it's not as daunting as it is with the Yankees or as challenging maybe out of the gate. But still for them, you don't want to have a fall off. You want to pick up right where they left off, taking 2 out of 3 from Kansas City and playing better baseball in the last week or so leading up to, where the Mets got to at the All-Star break. They got Cincinnati, obviously, for these three, the David Wright weekend, the big deal. Then the Angels come to town, and then they have a West Coast trip, which is never easy. Giants and Padres ahead of the trade deadline. So it's go time. No more time to mess around and evaluate and experience. They had their fun. They were on the break, whether they were at the All-Star game or enjoying some time with their families. 66 games to go for the Yanks, 65 games to go for the Mets, and what is a season where both have World Series aspirations. No more time to mess around. 888-808-1019. BT and Sal on the Fan. BT on vacation. Our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. We've been having guests all week long on this All-Star week and David Wright week and all that stuff with the festivities. We will continue that today, and it will culminate with the captain himself coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. I believe 1:10 exactly, but the 1 o'clock hour will have David Wright. Ahead of that, we'll have one of his BFFs, Josh Satin, coming in studio to hang out at 11 o'clock, and then Daniel Murphy will join us at 12. Right now, it's me and you talking trade deadline, talking second half, or, final third, Mets and Yanks. Larry is in Hillsborough, New Jersey. What's up, Larry?
What's up, Sal? You know I love you. I love busting your chops. You're the best, Sal.
We appreciate it. Go ahead.
Thank you. Dude, you just got the best player in baseball off of my team, damn it. And you want more? You sound like a Yankee fan.
Now, okay.
What's going on, man?
Yeah, Larry. I mean, the expectations have raised. And for the record, for those of you who are listening and are very sensitive to me saying Soto or Juan Soto's name, I didn't bring it up. Larry, you brought it up today. Don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah, because it hurts me, dude.
I get it, but you got to get over it. Look, and Larry, yes, I do want more. Don't you? You're a Yankee fan. You've experienced all those championships. You still want more, right?
Well, of course, to help my team win a World Series, of course. All right, Sal, let me ask you. Who would you get if you had to open checkbook?
For the Mets, you're talking about?
Who would you get?
For the Mets?
For your Mets.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, Larry, and thank you for the call. And I know what you're saying, and that's why I didn't go nuts in the offseason after Soto. Whatever happened after that, even with Alonso, I didn't care because they got Soto. That was the big fish that I wanted. And you can't always just be, go get this guy and go get that guy. But we're not talking about making major moves. We're talking about fine-tuning and putting the finishing touches on rosters in both the Mets and Yankees case that clearly need some help to complete what hopefully should be a World Series team for each of them. So I don't know how you could look at the Mets and say, well, yeah, they don't need more. Forget about want. It's not about want. It's they need more. Maybe my want is a little bit more than Cedric Mullins in center field. My priority, to answer your question directly, Larry, my priority would be high leverage bullpen arms because I am looking to October right now. Maybe that's I shouldn't be looking at October. I believe the Mets are going to be playing in the postseason this year. And not only to help get you there would a high leverage bullpen arm be beneficial, but once you get there, if I have to, I'll live with Cedric Mullins. I can't live with another Phil Maton, Ryan Stanek bullpen acquisition. They need at least one and probably two high leverage bullpen arms to complement Edwin Diaz and Brooks Raley when he comes back to help them get through the gauntlet of the postseason. That to me is the number one need for the Mets. You could actually argue the same thing for the Yankees. I know people are going to look at third base. Yeah, the Yanks could hit their way into the postseason now and pitch their way. They're fine with that. But the difference in the postseason with the Yankees is going to be, will that offense be successful, specifically Judge, but also the others helping him out? Will the offense that can be bullies at times in the regular season transfer into the postseason? And too many times we haven't seen that be the case. Even last year. And obviously they're minus Juan Soto, but are they more balanced? Are they more well-rounded? That's why when I say I want a third baseman for the Yanks, I don't want Suarez because to me he's not balanced. He's more the same. Power, swing and miss. Power, swing and miss. I want more, put the ball in play, higher average, great defensive player. I think that'll help the Yankees win more games in the postseason. Yankees, no doubt about it, need a bullpen arm. I don't know if they need a high leverage guy because remember, Luke Weaver at his peak is a high leverage guy. Devin Williams is. So they already have two. I know Weaver hasn't had a great year, but you have to trust that to some degree he's going to get that back. Wouldn't hurt to add another high leverage guy. You know, it's crazy. We say that both teams are in decent spots, but both teams also have major needs. I don't think big, meaning they don't need superstar players, but they have multiple areas to address. Bullpen, each team could use a starter. Yankees don't need a top starter. Mets, you could argue, might want a top starter, but both teams need at least a depth starting pitcher or could use, maybe needs a little strong, could use a depth starting pitcher. And the Mets need a center fielder. Yankees need a third baseman. Joe is in Clark, New Jersey. What's up, Joe?
Hey, what's up, Sal?
How are you, Joe?
What's going on? Good. By the way, a great interview yesterday with Torrey, man. You did a good job with that interview.
Thank you.
Good.
It was very fun talking to a lot of those guys. Joe was great. What's on your mind today, Joe?
Couple things. Look, I have reservations as far as what Stearns is going to do. I know he's been great with the reclamation guys. As far as bringing in I agree with you. I think we need two bullpen arms and one big bat. It's preferably a right-handed bat to put in that lineup. I'm okay with the starters right now. The way that those five guys are set. We're going to get McGill back down the line as far as depth is concerned. So I'm okay with that. Two good bullpen arms, a strong right-handed bat. Somehow you want to say third base, you want to say center field. Mullins doesn't really do it for me, but if they can find a right-handed bat to put in that lineup, I mean, that's at this point. Another thing too, Sal. The thing about having Cohen as an owner was that we could always pick up a contract that other teams maybe couldn't because of the money. As far as not having to trade away all our prospects, but we could pick up the contract where a team just wants to dump it. So that's something else to keep your eye on. Yeah. But I mean, I'm a little. I'm not gonna lie to you, Sal. Right now, I wish Cashman or Dombrowski or one of those guys was my GM as far as making trades.
Well, see,
I know they're aggressive.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna have to trust Joe, and we're gonna learn right now. And thank you for the call. We appreciate you checking in. Right now, we don't know David Stearns to be aggressive or go big game hunting. I don't even know how much you want Juan Soto, to be honest with you. I mean, I know he knows he's a great player, but would David Stearns advise giving a 15-year, $765 million contract out? Probably not. And I'm sure there are a lot of front office people who wouldn't advise that. But that's what it costs to get Juan Soto, so owner approved it. But is Stearns going to be, because it's going to be a combination of what Stearns and his front office would want and what Cohen will allow. And I believe Cohen will allow pretty much anything, I don't know that, I believe that, which to me would want Stearns, I would want to see Stearns be aggressive and creative. Hey, here's where we can solidify the starting rotation. Let's go get Luis Severino, take on his money. Check one. Then go maybe trade prospects for bullpen help. Check two. Then maybe a little combo of both to get help in center field or third base. I mean, obviously they need a center fielder. To me, they need a big league center fielder. But Cedric Mullins is not enough. He's better than what they have. He's an actual center fielder. They don't have one. But he's just not enough. Hey, time to get creative and aggressive. Both these guys. But you're right. The difference is we've seen Cashman do it. But even that, is it aggressive enough? BT and Sal on the Fan, 888-808-1019. Just getting started on this Friday morning on the Fan.